background music now. I hope that's okay for everyone. There was a complaint on Reddit that the background music's become annoying lately. And I know it's silly music, but it stays. Or somebody said, oh, you should play like just ambient street noise. Just kind of just sound like we're just in a public place.
18 months from Red Tabby 99. Humana, humana, humana. Awooga, awooga, honk, honk. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Red Tabby 99.
Nice, nice. Always, you know, the very real, organic reactions of any person seeing something exciting. We all do it. We all do it.
Humana, humana. Ah! And I need to boot up screen capture. That seems wildly unnecessary.
That's crazy.
3 guys are hiking through the woods when they find a lamp. One of them picks it up, rubs it, and out pops a genie. It booms. You have finally freed me after all these years, so I'll grant each one of you 3 wishes. The first guy immediately blurts out, I want $1 billion. Poof! He's holding a printout that shows his account balance is now, in fact, $1 billion and $3.50. The second man thinks for a bit and says, I want to be the richest man alive. Poof! He's holding papers showing his net worth is now well over 100 billion. The third guy thinks even longer about his wish, then says, I want my left arm to rotate clockwise for the rest of my life. Poof! His arm starts rotating. The genie tells them it's time for their second wish. The first guy says, I want to be married to the most beautiful woman on earth. Poof! A stunning beauty wraps herself around his arm. The second guy says, I want to be good looking and charismatic so I can have every girl I want. Poof! His looks change and the first guy's wife immediately starts flirting with him. The third guy says, I want my right arm to rotate counterclockwise until I die. Poof! Now both his arms are rotating in opposite directions. The genie tells them to think very carefully about their third wish. The first guy does, and after a while says, I never want to become sick or injured. I want to stay healthy until I die. Poof! His complexion improves, his acne is gone, and his knees don't bother him anymore. The second guy says, I never want to grow old. I want to stay 29 forever. Poof! He looks younger already. The third guy smiles triumphantly and says, my last wish is for my head to nod back and forth. Poof! He's now nodding his head and still flailing his arms about. The genie wishes them good luck, disappears, and the men soon go their separate ways. Many years later, they meet again and chat about how things are going. The first guy is ecstatic. I've invested the money and multiplied it many times over, so me and my family will be among the richest of the rich pretty much forever. My wife is a freak in the sheets, and I've never gotten so much as a cold in all these years. The second guy smiles and says, well, I built charities worldwide with a fraction of my wealth. I'm still the richest guy alive, and also revered for my good deeds. I haven't aged a day since we last met, and yes, your wife is pretty wild in bed. The third guy walks in, flailing his arms around, nodding his head, and says, guys, I think I fucked up. So dumb. It's so dumb. He did it for no reason.
Okay, so Moth goes into a podiatrist office. The podiatrist says, what's the problem?
Sorry, can you put more effort into it?
Okay. The Moth says, where do I begin with my problems? Every day I go to work for Gregory Vasilovich, and all day long I toil. But what is my work? I'm a bureaucrat, and so every day I joylessly move papers from one place to another and then back again. I no longer know what it is that I actually do, and I don't even know if Gregory Vasilovich knows. He only knows that he has power over me, and this seems to bring him much happiness. And where is my happiness? It is when I awake in the morning, and it is when I awake in the morning and I do not know who I am. In that single moment, I am happy. In that single moment before the memory of who I am strikes me like a cane, and I take to the streets and walk in a malaise, here and there and here again. And then it is time for work. Others stop me asking what I do for a living a long time ago, for they know I will have no answer and will fix my empty eyes upon them, and they fear my melancholia might prove so deep as to be contagious. Sometimes dark in the deepest dark of night I awake in my bed and I turn to my right, and with horror I see some old lady lying on my arm. An old lady that I once loved, Doc, in whose flesh I once found splendor and now see only decay. An old lady who insults me by her very existence. Once, Doc, when I was young, I flew into a spider web and I was trapped. In my panic, I smashed my wings till the dust flew from them, but it did not free me and only alerted the spider. The spider moved towards me and I became still, and the spider stopped. I had heard many stories from my elders about spiders, about how they would sink their fangs into your cephalothorax and would be paralyzed but aware as the spider slowly devoured you. So I remained as still as possible. But when the spider again began moving toward me, I smashed my wing again into my cage of silk, and this time it worked. I cut into the web and freed myself and flew skyward. I was free and filled with joy, but this joy soon turned to horror. I looked down and saw that in my escape I had taken with me a single strand of silk, and at the end of that strand was the spider, who was scrambling up toward me. Was I to die high in the sky where no spider should be? I flew this way, then that, and finally I freed myself from the strand and watched it as I floated earthward with the spider. But days later a strange feeling descended upon my soul, Doc. I began to feel that my life was that single strand of silk, with a deadly spider racing up it and toward me. And I felt that I had already been bitten by his venomous fangs and that I was living in a state of paralysis as life devoured me whole. My daughter, Alexandria, fell to the cold of last winter. The cold took her as it did many of us, and so my family mourned. And I placed on my countenance the look of grief, Doc, but it was a masquerade. I felt no grief for my dead daughter, but only envy. And so I have one child now, a boy whose name is Stefan Mikhailovich Smakonomov. And I tell you now, Doc, with great and deep shame, the terrible truth. I no longer love him. When I look into his eyes, all I see is the same cowardice that I see when I catch a glimpse of my own eyes in the mirror. It is this cowardice that keeps me living, Doc, that keeps me moving from place to place, saying hello and goodbye, eating through hunger has long left me, walking without destination, and at night lying beside the strange old lady in this burlesque of a life I endure. If only the cowardice would abate for the time needed to reach over and pick up the cocked and loaded pistol that lies on my bedside table, then I might finally end this facade once and for all.
Jesus.
But alas, the cowardice takes no breaks. It is what defines me. It is what frames my life. It is what I am. And yet I cannot resign myself to my own life. Instead, despair is my constant companion as I walk here, then there, without dreams, without hope, without love. Moth, says the podiatrist, your tale has moved me and it is clear you need help. But it is help I cannot provide. You must see a psychiatrist and tell him of your troubles. Why on earth did you come to my office? The moth says, because the light was on.
Similar vibe. Similar energy. For fuck's sake. Why did you say alright dick cheese? I'm just going to close that chat because it's toxic. What the
I closed as well. What was it saying?
You are lame now.
Oh,
I look
lock
so
picking.
suspicious and surprised.
Oh.
My eyes.
It's quite bizarre. Build more data centers. AI needs it to cure cancer, right?
Fuck's sakes.